Okay, I believe it's good to go now. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Vancouver Community College and MSK Media, I would like to welcome you all to the MSM Agent E-Summit Live Series for 2020. I'm Karishma Chaudhary, Manager Canada at MSK Media. Choosing a right college in Canada is a big decision and important investment in students' future. Vancouver Community College has been providing high quality programs to Canadian and international students for more than 50 years now. VCC highly qualified faculty and dedicated team of support staff are committed to help international students achieve their educational and career goals. For 50 years, VCC has played a key role in helping industry meet its needs for highly skilled employees. Our graduate placement rate is among the highest in the province. The catalyst to your potential is something students says about VCC. Well, VCC together with MSM is happy to have you all here for an hour of ultimate knowledge oriented session to help you boost your student recruitment practices. I would like to emphasize that today's webinar is going to be very interesting. So keep connected throughout the webinar so that you don't miss anything. Well, before we move to the exciting part of this webinar, I would like to remind you that if you are having any questions throughout the session regarding VCC, please do not hesitate to drop it in your in the Q&A section of your control panel. And if you're having any technical question, you can drop it in the chat box of your control panel. I know everyone is too curious to learn more about VCC. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce Ms. Angela Liang, Manager, International Marketing and Recruitment at Vancouver Community College. Angela, over to you.
Thank you very much, Karishma, for the warm welcome and introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you. This is our third Agent East Summit this year. And because of COVID-19, because of Zoom technology, we are able to present more information to you to help you recruit students on VCC's behalf and to help you explain to students what VCC is all about. So today we have quite a lot to cover. First and foremost, I would like to give you some updates regarding COVID-19, especially at VCC. We'll talk a little bit about more fun facts and fun information to know about VCC if you haven't known those already. I will be talking to you about some very popular programs or the most popular programs that you'll probably get approached by students to ask about. So those are popular programs and how to promote them. I will also be speaking to you about BC career outlooks. How does it look like in terms of our labor market? The support and services that we provide to international students, we'll also discuss them. And to summarize the session, I will give you some key unique selling propositions that you can use if you only have a little bit of time to talk to a student. What can you focus on? We have a lot of social media channels and a lot of posts that you can share with students when it comes to how students are learning and how instructors are teaching, especially during COVID-19. And last but not least, I will make sure that there is enough time at the end of the session to answer any questions that you might have. So very first and foremost about COVID-19. Now, because the pandemic has been announced since March and it's been a while, so it's almost part of our lives right now. So what have we been doing at VCC to make sure that our students are staying safe and healthy during this time? So first of all, like a lot of institutions, we have moved our instructions and learning to an online format, a virtual format. Face-to-face learning continues for very selected programs. So currently for fall 2020, the majority of our students are studying online for the first term. Some of them who are in their third or fourth term, they may be required to come back to complete their programs, but many of them are studying online. In winter 2021, we have more programs that will require students to be in Vancouver for face-to-face learning, but the majority of the programs are still being conducted online, at least for the first term. When will this change? It really depends on how COVID-19 plays out. But our students are continuing to study online as part of their study journey. And how is the college doing? We're doing well. A lot of our services and operations have moved outside of the campus. We have been working from home for the most part, and some people are working on campuses, but most of us are working from home. Our services continue to be offered. It's just that we added an online service platform for students and agents to get in touch with us if they would like to, either by phone, by email, or using Zoom, like what we're doing right now. We also provided additional student support during this difficult time. Our international student advisors are now reaching out to students on a bi-weekly basis just to check in to see how they're doing. We also have international mentors or volunteers who are students with VCC that have begun their studies online during this difficult time or have started to study at VCC prior to, so they can really help new students in this special occasion. Our learning center and library continue to offer services online, and they offer a lot of online workshops that teach students how to manage their time and how to study better with virtual learning. We continue to offer bursaries, scholarships, and awards. And bursaries have been created specifically for COVID-19, for the pandemic. So our students are really supported throughout this pandemic. If you want more information about what's happening at VCC and how we help students during this time, and also how we help our teachers transition from in-person and classroom instruction to online instruction, you can visit our website for more information. Now, that was a little bit of update about COVID-19. We would like to do a little poll just to see how you have been observing or how you feel about what's happening during the pandemic. Will your students plan to defer their studies due to online learning? In other words, they know that a lot of institutions are offering courses online due to the pandemic. Will your students plan to study online, or do they prefer to defer until such a time when classes are offered in person? I'm going to launch the first poll. So we'll give you about 10 seconds. It's a fairly easy question. How many percentage do you think that your students will want to absolutely defer? How many of them will not care if it's online or in person and continue their study journey by starting online and then coming to Canada a little bit later? Okay, so we'll give you another 5 seconds or so. We have a lot of people voting right now. And at the end of the poll, I will share the poll results so the audience know what the other agents have voted in terms of this particular question. Okay. It looks like many of you think that more than 50 to 80%, most will likely defer. We're still waiting for some more votes to come in. And I will end the polling now. Okay, so thank you for those of you that voted. So like you can, oh, sorry. I'm just sharing my results right now. So as you can see, a lot of you think that between 50 and 80% will most likely differ. And some of them may differ. And I'm happy to know that almost everyone will defer is not true. I'm happy to know that. Okay, great. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. We have a couple more polls during this session, so please stay tuned and we can share more interesting data with you too. Okay, so I think most of you already work with VCC for quite some time, but for those of you who may just started or who are new in your company, if you're not sure about what VCC has to offer, this is what we have to offer. So I'm just sharing some interesting numbers. More than 93% of our students are happy or satisfied with the quality of their education, as well as the future as to which they can obtain because of their study at VCC. Because either maybe they're coming to VCC because they want to transfer to a university or get a job or open up their own business. Whatever they decided to do before they came to VCC, they were able to successfully achieve those results. That's why 93% of them, many of them, most of them are very happy with the results. We also have smaller class sizes. On average, we have 21. Some courses we have 16. Some courses we have 25, depending on the programs. But the small class sizes are really helpful when it comes to students' learning experiences and really for them to connect with the instructors and other students. Our graduate employment rate is also quite high. Now you look at 90% here, but it's actually far higher than 90%. The reason we have 90% is because many of our students who are more university bound or who are looking to transfer to university, they're also included in that survey. So if we're only looking at programs that train students for employment, the percentage is sometimes 95%, 96, or 100% for some programs. So it's very easy, very quick, and I wouldn't say effortless, but it's very it's not difficult to get a job after graduation, sometimes even before graduation. We also have a large percentage of Canadian students in our college. We have about close to 12-15% of students who are international students, but the majority of our students are Canadian students, which makes it easier because we have a large alumni network who live, study, and work in Vancouver. We have a lot of opportunities for our students who are looking for practicum or work experiences or even full-time job opportunities, who are able to very easily find one because a lot of our graduates, a lot of our alumni provide those kind of opportunities to our students. In terms of our location, this is definitely our top selling point because we're located in Vancouver, and not just anywhere in Vancouver, we're in the heart of Vancouver. We have two campuses in Vancouver, which are, one of them is in downtown, the other one is just outside of downtown. And the two of them are very close to each other, about 15 to 20 minutes by transit. We have another campus that's outside of Vancouver that only houses one program. So it's very easy to sell VCC because we have a really prime location. We're in the heart of Vancouver. Now, I promised that I would talk to you about the most popular programs. So I grouped these programs into 5 categories. The 5 categories of programs have something in common. So over 80% of our international students are enrolled in these programs. And why is that? Because it's easy to get a job. They're all training students on very specific career opportunities. They're all 2-year programs that lead to a 3-year post-graduation work permit, which is what a lot of students are studying in Canada for. The requirements, entrance requirements are not super difficult. There are specific requirements students have to meet, but we're not looking for a straight A students. We're looking for students who meet the minimum. The tuition rates are also competitive. Low attrition rates mean that the majority of our students are able to graduate. We may have a student or two who may not be successful due to low attendance or failing of exams, but the majority of our students are able to continue through the program and graduate. And many of them don't really transfer to other universities or colleges because these are very specialized programs that train them for particular careers. So not necessarily university transferable. So these programs include business and management, transportation trades and repair technology, cosmetology, early childcare and education, and technology. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information for each category. So for the business and management category, we have 3 programs that you can promote. The 2 programs on the left are post-degree diploma programs, which require students to have a graduation, to have a a bachelor's degree in any discipline. So they can graduate from arts, from sciences, from medicine, from education, from design. Any major would work. So as long as they meet the minimum requirement and the English requirement, there's no mathematics required for the post-degree diploma. Now you notice that I included the median salary on an annual basis on these slides. The annual median salary figures come from Work BC, which is maintained by the government of BC. They show how much people in these industries are making on an annual basis, almost on average. So for students who are starting out, they may be making less than that, but once they work in the industry for a few years, they actually can make more than that. So it's a great investment opportunity if you compare the tuition amount for the 2 years with the annual median salary of these kind of positions. Now, the program on the right-hand side is the Hospitality Management Diploma, which is a post-secondary program that accepts students who graduate from high school. It's also a very popular program, and we have been voted, VCC has been voted the best place in Vancouver to train for work in the hospitality industry. So there's no better place to study hospitality management than VCC, that's for sure. We have another category of program that I wanted to quickly mention. We have programs that teach students to repair things. So what are they repairing? They're repairing automotives. For automotives, there are two categories. We have collision and refinishing, which is focusing on the auto body, glasses, and paint. We have auto service technology, which is focusing more on the engineering, the mechanical side of the automobiles. We have heavy mechanical technology, which also trains students to repair transportation equipment, but that are more of a heavy mechanical, heavy machinery. So for example, transport trailers, buses, or anything that's larger in scale that run on diesel engine. The other program is electronics repair technology, which is actually almost one of a kind in Western Canada at VCC. We train students to repair consumer electronics, which include household electronics and business electronics. Household electronics include anything that you see in the kitchen, for example, like a stove, a microwave, a refrigerator. Students also are trained to repair televisions, computers, laptops, cell phones, and any portable devices. So definitely there is a need in the industry. That's why we have such programs. And students are training on campus at VCC's facilities where they will be able to have these kind of practical and theoretical training at the same time at VCC before they even go out to find a part-time work. The other popular category, popular program area is cosmetology. And we've actually seen an increasing number of Indian students in the past couple of years. So what does this program teach? Yes, we have men in this program. This is a beauty program, but it's not just any random beauty program. This program teaches students to become a hairstylist or an esthetician, both. A hairstylist and an esthetician. We don't just teach them the skills in terms of cutting hair or makeup or body care. We actually teach them how to run a spa and a salon. So we teach them management skills. We teach them entrepreneurial skills so that if they eventually want to open up their own salon and spa, they have a lot of knowledge and experiences and techniques to be able to do that successfully. And for a fact, I know that some of our Indian students a few years ago actually worked together to open up a salon. That was a few years ago. So I did not include the earning average on here because it's a little bit hard to predict exactly how much the average is. But they're actually doing quite well in terms of salary. They're making average hourly wage of $14 to $16 an hour. On top of that, they're getting commissions and bonuses based on the services that they provide and the products that they sell. They also, on top of everything, get tips, which is probably not common in a lot of countries, but definitely in North America, tipping is within our culture. So very easily, students who graduate from the program can make maybe 50,000 per year if they're just starting out. I also know that some of our graduates who are aiming to work at higher end salons and spas, or who are holding supervisor positions, can make anywhere between $70,000 and $75,000 if they're really good at upselling the product and providing services. So definitely some hidden gem that a lot of students haven't really thought about. The other category is the ECCE, the Early Childhood Care and Education Diploma. This is a new diploma that we're offering to international students, but this is not new at VCC. We have been offering this program for the past many years. VCC even has our own childcare center that is open to the public, but of course, priority is given to our students and staff. So what do students learn here? They learn to become an educator that provide education and childcare to children who are between infancy and 6 years of age. They are utilizing the environment to help children learn, basically. Now, this is a very practicum heavy program. There are 7 practicum in total. So students will have a lot of experiences at VCC State Care Center, as well as practicum employers outside of VCC. If you look at the bottom where it says annual median salary, it looks a little bit lower compared to the other program areas. That's because this salary includes assistant jobs, which our students are not trained to do. Our students are trained after term 1 to become an assistant on a part-time basis, but when they graduate, they can apply for a license that will enable them to be a licensed educator or practitioner as an early childhood educator. So in other words, they'll make more money than the average salary. Now, the last program category that I want to highlight is technology. And we know technology definitely is one of the most popular industries in terms of careers, especially what happened during COVID-19. We rely so much on technology to reach out to people. So we have 3 programs that I want to highlight in our technology realm. On the left, we have CAD and BIM. And what does it stand for? It stands for computer-aided design or computer-aided draft and building information modeling. So judging by the name, you'll notice that it's really training students to do work in the construction industry or with engineers or in construction companies or with architects to draft blueprints using computer and using paper, 2D and 3D modeling. So this is such a great program that in some of the specialties within this program, students are getting 100% career graduation employment rate. And many of them get more than 2 or 3 job offers even before they graduate. That's how good we are at training our students for employment. The computer side of things, we have computer systems technology, which is a post-secondary diploma, accepting students who graduate from high schools. We have a post-degree diploma that we've just launched in network technology administration and security. Again, this is not a new program. It's new for international students, but we have been offering this program for many years. The difference between the computer systems technology and the network technology program is that the computer systems technology focuses more on software, whereas the other program focuses more on systems or a network. But regardless, both programs lead to great employment opportunities. And how good? Now, Vancouver has been named in 2019 the top city in North America for tech job growth. Amazon opened an office right across from our downtown campus, and right away they have 3,000 jobs available. So we foresee a lot more jobs to be available in the near future, especially because of COVID-19. Many employees are now working from home. There's a lot more need to maintain the internet, to have the knowledge and technology ready to be able to work in the next decade or 2. So if your students are qualified and interested, these are definitely great programs to promote. Okay, so obviously we have more programs than the ones that I just talked about. But due to time constraints, I won't be talking about each program area in details. If you want more specific information, M Square is happy to help. Just email VCC India at vcc.ca, then they can give you more information about specific programs, career outlooks, how to get in, how much it is, and a lot of more information. I will be showing a video at the very end, but I also want to let you know where to find different program videos. So we have a lot of individual program videos that are 30 seconds to 1 minute long, and which you can share with students. So if you go to our website, vcc.ca/international, click on programs, under the program video gallery, you'll see a lot of program videos where you can share with students. Now, this is actually new that I'm announcing. And so you are actually one of the first agents that hear about this. We don't have the programs available yet, but they will be available sometime later this year, probably in December. So please don't apply yet, but I want to let you know that we have new programs coming up. And these two programs are Accounting Diploma and Marketing Technology Diploma. Both are 2-year programs that accept students who graduate from high school. And there are a lot of career options available. And I particularly like how they are specializing in, for example, auditing clerks, tax preparers, accounting technician jobs. They actually tell you exactly what kind of job students can apply to after they graduate. Same as marketing, it's not just any random marketing program. It's a marketing program that includes technology in it. For example, CRM, customer relationship management database system. What kind of CRMs are available and how do you utilize CRM to meet your marketing goals? So definitely great programs. Again, you're the first agents to learn about this because they are not on our website yet. They will be hopefully at the end of the year. And then we can start promoting and accepting applications. So please don't send out applications yet. Once they're ready to accept applications, we will send an official email to announce it. And MSM will also announce it to the agent network. Okay, it's time for poll number two. Now, this is just a tricky question that I'm asking you because I want to make sure that everybody is paying attention to what I've been saying. So based on the information that I provided prior, for the past 25 minutes, which one do you think is not true? Now, I just want to make sure that you're paying attention. The questions are related to really information that you can provide to your students. So hopefully that will help you remember what to say. If you run out of things to say, you can always share something about our graduate employment outcome, our class sizes, can students apply for scholarships or not, and occupations, and how many % of our students are satisfied with the quality of the education. So we'll give it another 7 seconds to allow for more people to vote, and then I can share the polling results just to make sure that we are participating and paying attention. Okay, it looks like most of you got it right, but we'll give it another, say, 5 seconds. Once we reach a certain percentage of vote. Okay, I'm going to end the polling now. And I'm going to share the results. So guess what? Many of them got it right. The average class size at VCC is not 35, it's 21. And again, some classes are smaller at 16, some are bigger at 25, but the average is 35. Okay, so that was a fun exercise. Now I wanted to talk about the minimum wage and the basic career outlooks. So for those of you that don't really know about the Canadian labor market system or the provincial system, our wages are really set, or the labor market is, the regulations are really per province. So it's not federal, it's provincial. So in BC, our province, there is a legal obligation to pay people at a certain wage. So even if someone that does not have any experiences, as long as this person got a job, a part-time job or a full-time job, the minimum wage has to be a specific number. So every year, because of inflation, the minimum wage is adjusted up so that we are making sure that the labor market or the laborers who are working in BC are able to meet the life standards. So that's just some figure for you to share with students. And BC Career Outlook, so we have a lot of positions that are definitely in higher demands than others. And if you look at the high demand occupations, you'll find that many of them actually our students are able to do after they graduate because they're learning exactly what is needed to do those jobs. So I just gave you some examples here: retail and wholesale trade managers, restaurant and food services managers, automotive service technicians. So these are just to give you some examples. One thing that we learn from here, including the top trades, which VCC has 4 out of the 10, is that many programs at VCC lead to high demand occupations. So if you don't remember anything from this slide, that's exactly what the message is. And also sharing a very interesting picture or data from WorkBC. They're talking about the composition of job openings. How many jobs will be open in the near future or in the next decade or so? And how many percent of it comes from replacement of retiring workers, and how many percent comes from new jobs created due to economic growth? So during the pandemic, our economy has been impacted. It will be a lie if I say we haven't been impacted at all. Definitely the economy has been impacted. Some industries lost money. Some industries actually earn more money because of the pandemic. Because think about Amazon, which relies on e-business or e-commerce, the sales using online services. They actually boomed so much that they've increased their sales a lot. They're hiring more people. But some industries may be impacted. Even during those difficult economic times, we are still having 70% of our future job openings based on replacement of retiring workers. So do not worry about no jobs available for students. There continue to be a lot of jobs available, even during economic recession, which we're not in yet. But if there is an economic recession, there will still be jobs available based on this graph. We also offer a lot of services. Now, I would not go through all of them, but something that I wanted to make you aware is that we provide a lot of services to make sure that students maintain a good study work-life balance and also can get a job. So how do we make sure that they have good job opportunities? We have learning centers that provide free tutoring sessions, which include mock interviews, so they can practice interview skills with a tutor. Our library offers a lot of resume writing and interview preparation workshops too. Again, counselors help them navigate career options. But how they get jobs is usually from instructors and their fellow students, because some students get a part-time job, they're hiring for someone else, and then they share the information. Instructors also have very good connections with the industry, so they can share job opportunities and sometimes recommend students who are perfect fit for a particular type of jobs. So these kind of services and support that we provide really help students lead to a career in a more smooth way and more easily and quicker. Okay, point number 3. So this is something that I really want to find out from you in terms of what you think. Now, we all know that the pandemic has impacted a lot of industries, including international education. So in your experience, for the past little while, have you noticed a decline in your student application to Canada during the pandemic? Now, I'm only asking about Canada because I think I've seen some research somewhere that some countries may be impacted less or more, but I'm only focused on in the Canadian international education from your perspective. So if you can let me know what you think, is it, definitely a lot of decline, more than half, or some decline, still less than half, a little bit manageable, or it's about the same, more or less, or you actually saw more applications coming in during the pandemic. Okay, so I think we're getting a lot of people to vote. I'll give you another 10 seconds because it's an important question that I really want to know. And it will be great if I can get your feedback. And it will also be interesting to see what other fellow agents in the same industry are experiencing. Okay, I think the poll has about stopped. So I'm going to end the polling in about 5 seconds and I'll share the results. All right. So it's a little sad, but it's expected. There has definitely been a decline, according to many of you. But some of you think it's about the same. Almost half of you think there's a decline, but less than half. And some of you, about 30% of you, think that it's more than a 50% decline. So thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. And that's definitely something we need to keep in mind. And again, we really want to make sure that students know that cost of education increases every year. So we really want to recommend and encourage them to study, even though there's the pandemic, because during the pandemic, many people are coming back to school, especially, Canadians, for example. If they lose their job, the first thing that they think about is sometimes coming back to school to study so they can get prepared for a better job opportunity. Because in Canada, we have a really good employee insurance system where they get paid a little bit to kind of offset the loss of income. So in this case, a lot of people think of it as a great opportunity to go back to school to prepare themselves. So for international students, I think this is something that they should consider as well. Otherwise, when the pandemic is over, when the job markets are booming again, they will probably face more competition too, because more people are going to be more well prepared in terms of their training, education as well. So definitely try to encourage students to not give up on their dream as much as possible. Now, I know you have gone through this already, but if you only have like 20 seconds or sometimes 15 seconds to talk to a student or a parent about why VCC may be a good option, there are a lot to talk about. So we have some unique selling propositions you can share. We can share about the location, the reputation, because a lot of our programs and students are winning awards. The practicality of the program, that it's very, very applied. They're not learning just textbook knowledge. They're learning something useful. So there's a lot to talk about. But if you only have 15 seconds or 20 seconds, focus on 4 things: the location of the college, we're in the heart of Vancouver, industry network, employability, post-graduation work permit eligibility. These 4, engrave it in your mind or write it down on a piece of paper or in a notebook, so that if a student quickly asks you, so what's about VCC? What is it? Why is it special? Why is it something that I should consider? Focus on these 4, and it'll probably make it easier for you to promote VCC in that way. Now, last but not least, I wanted to show some pictures from social media that you can, if you follow us, you will be able to see those pictures. So pictures of students attending awards and receiving, attending award ceremonies and winning or participating at competitions. We have some examples of 8 instructors teaching online during the pandemic. We have some examples of students learning at home or practicing their meals and their assignments at home. So to get more of such examples, feel free to follow us on social media. We have a Facebook account. We also have an Instagram account where you'll see a lot of pictures. Now, I want to show you a video. This particular video is a video that we have put together to show our Canadian Business Management post-degree diploma program, how we are training or helping students find employment and in their practicum. So it's a very short video. I wanted to show it to you.
Hello there, my name is Joel Rivera, and I'm an instructor at Vancouver Community College in the Canadian Business Management Post-Degree Program. A unique aspect of my role as an instructor in this faculty is that I have the privilege of assisting students with their workplace practicum courses and the practicum itself. Specifically, I have had the opportunity to aid our students with all the technical components needed to obtain a practicum in their final term. This includes assisting them with their resume, online branding, interview techniques, as well as offering career guidance. As our students come to VCC with a degree, my role is to assist them to navigate through various career options related to their field or to explore new paths. The Canadian Business Management Post-Degree Program, or CBM, assists our international students by gaining a solid foundation for work in Canada in operational management roles, administrative positions, as well as in specific industries such as finance, human resources, and marketing. My role as an instructor is to bridge the gap between practicum post-employers and our students. This includes assisting the students with communicating and self-placement requests with their own employers, as well as working with partners to source and secure placements for our students. What excites me about the role is seeing our students have success upon graduation. Several students have secured permanent placements with the organizations that they fulfilled their practicums with, as well as have been promoted in their own roles in their self-placements. But don't take my word for it. Have a peek at some of these pictures where the students are enjoying their practicum placements.
Okay, I hope you were able to see that. I never know if it's tricky with videos. Sometimes it can be really flawless and smooth. Sometimes it can be really laggy. So, oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. Sorry, sorry, that was a little bit shocking. Anyway, so I hope you all had a chance to view the video, and it gave you some examples of how we are helping our students. Definitely in the Canadian Business Management Post-Degree Diploma Program, our students are almost getting 100% career opportunities because of the practicum that is at the end of the program. Okay, so I'm going to leave the rest of the my time here, about 15 minutes or so, to questions. So Deepak, carry away.
Thank you so much, Angela. So, time to take questions from the audience. Just a reminder, you can put forward your questions into the question section in control panel. So the first question which we have is, does VCC provide any accommodation facility?
So that's a really good question. Now, as you know, because VCC is located in the heart of Vancouver, and land, especially in downtown area, it's not easy to build a dormitory. So we don't have our own student residence. However, we do work with a homestay provider. So if your students are interested in experiencing Canadian culture, they can pay, I think it's about $800 or $850 per month to stay with a homestay family, usually a Canadian family that offers 2 meals per day. With share internet, share bathrooms, share common spaces, or some students prefer to rent an apartment or part of a house with some other students, which is also possible. My brother, for example, he rented a room in Vancouver for only $600. So, I mean, it's not expensive if you are willing to share accommodation with someone else. If students are wanting to have their own one-bedroom apartment in the heart of downtown Vancouver, which is not necessary, it can be a little bit more expensive. But there are a lot of options in terms of housing. We don't have our own, but we usually have resources that we can redirect students to.
Thank you, Angela. Our next question is VCC falls under DLI list for COVID-19 readiness plan?
I knew that question would come up, and yes, we are. Now, the last IRCC session that I've attended, they basically said that it is the province's responsibility to inform each institution if they have been added to the list, and we have been informed. So we're waiting, just like everybody else, we're waiting for the list to be published on IRCC's website. They said October 20th. I haven't seen it, but I think it should be available soon. We are on the list for the COVID-19 travel restriction institutions. Sorry,
Thank you,
travel
Angela.
exemption, not restriction.
Thank you, Angela. And does VCC provide any quarantine facility to the students, those who are traveling to Canada?
Because we don't have a residence, we aren't able to provide any quarantine facilities. But just like a lot of institutions that don't have residences, we usually come up with plans. So I know that there are a lot of hotels. If you're not living in the heart of Vancouver, but kind of outside of the Vancouver area, still with easy access to Vancouver, within like 30, 40 minutes by train or buses, there are a lot of hotels that offer quarantine packages, some of which even include meals. So that would be a good option, because even if you want to go into a homestay, usually they want students to start the homestay lease agreement until after they meet the quarantine requirement. And it is a quarantine. It's actually illegal to wander around during the quarantine period. So in a hotel, it might be a better choice.
Thank you, Angela. Our next question is any scholarship provided by the institution to international students?
So there are a lot of scholarships available. Many scholarships are related to program areas, because usually how scholarships are provided is that we find donors, or we have a foundations department that are in very constant and regular communication with alumni who are very successful a lot of times in their own fields of work. So many of them do provide scholarships of opportunities specific to the program areas. Some of the scholarships are open to everybody who meets academic or community service or leaderships requirements, but there are definitely scholarships available for international students. Just to give you an example, one of our automotive programs, the Automotive Collision and Refinishing Diploma programs, which is only for international students, they actually have a scholarship from BMW. So you know what BMW is? It's a luxury car brand, and they provide $5,000 Canadian dollars scholarship for 3 people and 2,000 for 2 people. So in other words, in total, it's like 19,000 Canadian dollars for 1 year just for the program. And we had 4 international students that won the awards in June. So that's just to give you some example. Now, it's not always going to be 5,000. That's a very generous scholarship, but they usually range between 500 to 5,000, depending on the scholarships.
Thank you, Angela. Our next question is there any internship available for international students?
So a lot of our programs have practicum opportunities, not all of them. For example, the automotive programs don't really have practicum because they don't have to. We have on-campus auto shops where they're doing a lot of training already. So a lot of times they can just go and get a part-time job and get paid. But we do have a lot of programs that have practicum opportunities. Either they are given a list to choose from, or they are placed based on their academic performances and personalities and attendance and all the other factors. So again, not all programs do come with a practicum opportunity, but many do, because we're training them for jobs. We have to make sure that they have somewhere to practice those skills.
Thank you. Our next question is, as we know that for January intake, the visa submission deadline is 15th of November. So we have a question from one of our agents that can we increase this till 30th of November because VAC is closed in India?
We know that VACs is they're not open yet, and there's a lot of advocacy, not just from VCC but from a lot of institutions in Canada to try to push for exceptions. Now, our deadline still stays because we are hoping to wait until November 15th to see what happens. But from my previous experience, on November 15th, maybe a lot of people won't be able to get their study permit. In other words, we don't have people on the wait list who already have a study permit. If that's the case, then we will reach out to students individually to let them know if an extension is available, and if so, how much longer we can wait. Because if they're not getting a visa by November 15th, is there a likelihood for them to get a visa anytime soon? If not, is it better for the students to be deferred? So these will be provided as options after the November 15th deadline. And as far as I know, last fall, I believe that we gave extension to a lot of students in a lot of programs because many of them couldn't get their approval in time. So I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen this time again, but there's a really good likelihood that might be the case.
Thank you, Angela. Our next question is, there is a 5,000 non-refundable amount is mentioned on the offer letter. Please clarify regarding this.
Okay, so according to VCC's policy, the only time that tuition fees are fully refundable minus an administration fee of $250, the only time that is refundable based on our policy is when there's a visa rejection. So if it's not a visa rejection, if it's because the students decide to go to a different institution or not to come to Canada for whatever reason, usually the $5,000 from the tuition deposit that's paid will be deducted. In other words, we'll refund everything else other than the $5,000 or $6,500 depending on the programs. Now, if the student has a specific reason that needs that he or she would like to get more consideration, for example, a family member got sick or other different reasons that I can't think of right now, there's an appeal process available. Students will need to submit supporting documents to explain why this is really outside of the student's control and are requesting for consideration to waive the $5,000 penalty. So that has been approved in the past, again, depending on the reason given and the supporting documents. So it's a policy, but we have an appeal process for a more fair consideration.
Thanks. Moving forward to our next question, one of the agent needs to know about the accurate tuition fee refund amount on refusal, or in case of withdrawal, if there is a voluntarily withdrawal, or if there is visa refusal, then what is going to be the tuition fee refund policy?
Okay, so because every program has a different tuition deposit amount, for example, post-degree diplomas in business, I believe it's $10,000 tuition deposit. So for example, if student pays $10,000 and the tuition, the study permit has been rejected, the study permit rejection reason cannot be due to fraudulent documents. If that's the case, then we can't really refund it because it is the student's responsibility to make sure that they submit accurate and non-fraudulent documents. But anyway, if the visa is rejected because maybe immigration does not believe that the student has ties with India, therefore will return to Canada. So for any of those reasons of visa refusal, the $10,000 paid, we will return everything except for $250 administration charge. Now, if the student is getting the refund via wire transfer, there's another, I think, $60 charge, bank charge that needs to be collected. So $250 plus the 60 is what the students will lose if they're paying by, if they're getting paid back in wire transfer, for example.
Moving forward to our next question, please confirm tuition fee refund amount received, whether by Flywire or by wire transfer.
I believe for Flywire, there isn't a bank fee that students need to pay upfront at VCC. So the only time that we charge, VCC charges the bank charge is when there is a bank transaction from our bank, from VCC's bank to the student's bank. Now, if they're using Flywire, there isn't such a fee that we collect, but there may be fees that Flywire collects that I'm not able to speak to. But So I hope that I answered your question. The $60 bank charge is when students are getting paid directly by VCC's bank. But when it comes to Flywire, there's a different platform that we're using. Therefore, we're not charging that particular amount of money upfront.
Thanks, Angela. Moving forward to our next question. How does it take normally for the offer letter to come?
So we actually have seen a great improvement from about 2 months ago. Right now, I think in the beginning of the month, we're seeing 1 week turnaround time. Right now, I think as of today, it's 2 weeks because we open our application period on October 1st. So we're still getting through those applications. I think the last application that we have processed for offer was either the 5th or the 7th of October. Therefore, about 2 weeks turnaround time. Now, if no seat is available, the students will typically receive a waitlist notification within that 2 weeks period. If a seat is available, students would typically receive an offer within that 2 weeks period. So right now it takes about 2 weeks. Now it can be 2.5 or 1.5 in the next little while, but as of today, the information that I got was it's 2 weeks.
Thanks, Angela. Our next question is VCC provide conditional offer letter?
We do not provide conditional offer letters based on IELTS. If a student is currently studying in a university and, but has already finished all the courses, we can provide admission based on provisional transcripts or provisional certificate from university. But there is no conditional admission available because our seats are limited and they're very popular. So students must meet all the requirements, including English, to be able to get admission.
Thanks. Our next question is PTE acceptable by for any program in Vancouver Community College?
Thank you for raising that question. Officially, not yet, but we are working with PTE right now. We're working internally to make PTE an option for English language proficiency. So hopefully in the next little while, you'll hear from us confirming that PTE is accepted. As of today, not yet. We have a lot of internal approval process to go through in order to approve or articulate an external test like that. So it is on our radar. We are working on it right now.
Thank you, Angela. Our next question is VCC accepting any new agents from India?
Please talk to MSM. Not really, but please talk to Deepak about this particular question. We usually recommend agents to work with who don't already have an agreement with us, to work with agents who we already have agreements with, because again, for seat capacity, we can't have a lot of agents who are just sending a few students each. So we are now not really opening for new agents, but talk to Deepak and he can give you more information.
Sure, Angela. So it's great that we are still getting a lot of questions. As we know, our time is limited and we may not be answer all of them in this webinar, but don't worry, we have your email IDs and we will be happy to respond all your questions after this webinar. So Angela, is there anything you would like to add before we wrap up this session?
So everybody, thank you very much for working with VCC or considering to work with VCC. We are working on creating a lot of new exciting programs, just like the accounting diploma and the marketing technology diploma that I mentioned. We will have more programs in the near future. In the meantime, we have a lot of existing programs are very popular and lead to great career opportunities. So please do not give up on Canada. Do not give up on VCC. During the pandemic, we haven't been impacted so much because our programs do lead to careers even during the pandemic. So encourage your students to apply to VCC, to consider VCC as a great option, and do not delay their studies because of the pandemic.
Thank you so much, Angela. And thank you to all the valuable agents and friends who participated in this exclusive MSM and Vancouver Community College Agent Summit. We appreciate you being here. We hope this session was helpful and informative enough for you, everyone. Until the next one, please take care, stay safe and healthy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.